There were two things worth watching on Saturday's Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view, the FTR-Briscoes match as expected, and then the very end of the Chris Jericho-Claudio Castagnoli match, which was a bit of a surprise to me that that one ended the way it did and was as good as it was. Hi, Chris Graham here. We're going to talk some Ring of Honor / AEW wrestling. To the second one first, it had seemed in a build. We had talked on YouTube here a few days ago that Castagnoli was being booked to lose that one because the stipulation in that match was that if Castagnoli were to lose the match, he would have to join Jericho's faction. And it seemed logical that that's where things were going to go because that stip was put there. As it turns out, hey, good move by AEW to swerve us a bit there, using that stip as a swerve. And I love the way the match ended. I know there are some people who are, I guess people are going to criticize everything, but the match ended with the giant swing from Claudio Castagnoli. He did 33 of them, and Jericho actually tapped out on the 33rd. I've never seen that before. It was a very creative way to end a match, and certainly puts over the giant swing as more than just something to say that you saw when you went to a live show. Really, really impressive way to end that match. Good booking there. The FTR-Briscoes match I thought was much better than expected because I expect great matches out of FTR and the Briscoes, are the two best tag teams in wrestling right now. But the stipulation for that match seemed to be limiting because you had those two tag teams tethered to each other with dog collars, and so it would limit a lot of what they could do because of that. Right, that was the thinking going in, and it did. I mean, there were certainly spots that the fact that the guys were on a chain that looked like it was I don't know, 9-10 feet across the ring, that as a result they had to be at that proximity the whole time. But yeah, it turned out into a great match. It was one of the bloodiest matches I've ever seen. I'm writing that it was the bloodiest match I've seen since Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine back at Starrcade '83. That was a dog collar match as well. And so even though they didn't need a gimmick to put on a 5-star match, they worked around the gimmick and made that a 5-star match. Credit to both teams. And the Briscoes come out with a win. And now heading into whatever the Ring of Honor era is, and we'll talk about that in a second, as the new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. As far as you can order the replay, I don't know. I don't really trust a lot of things right now as far as pay-per-views. I hate to say, I had gotten away from the Bleacher Report streaming service that is the preferred method from the AEW folks to watch AEW and Ring of Honor pay-per-views, just because the Bleacher Report streaming service has been very unreliable to me, and also to some folks that I know closely. I was going to watch one of the pay-per-views at a watch party with a friend, and we ended up having to come to my house and watch it after we'd driven to his house, because the Bleacher Report just couldn't load after, and my friend was on the phone for a couple of hours trying to get it to load, just wouldn't work. I ordered this through Comcast, and I've been doing that since that experience for my friend back. I think that was at the what would that have been? It wasn't All Out. It was it was Double or Nothing, I guess, back in May. Um, so I've been ordering the shows through Comcast since, and I wanted to order and record this one because it started at a weird time, 4 o'clock, and wasn't able to start watching at 4 o'clock. And I also had some friends who wanted to come over and watch it later that evening. The order and record didn't work, and I was on chat with Comcast for several hours Saturday night. They eventually just gave me a refund. So um, there's at least one match you want to see here, the Briscoes versus FTR, but I don't know if I can advise you to spend $39.99 and not necessarily be able to access the pay-per-view. So that's unfortunate for AEW that's something that they've got to address, certainly. Another thing to address is Honor Club. Tony Khan announced after the show, in his media scrum, at least nobody got beat up after this one, that he's relaunching the Ring of Honor streaming service Honor Club, which for $9.99 a month will feature archive matches dating back to 2002. And he said we'll soon have fresh weekly TV content. Now, this is an effort to make money off of the Ring of Honor name, but the hard part's going to be you got to sign up for $9.99 a month on the faith that there's going to be regular good matches, and you can't really watch them for free leading into it. So you've just got this will appeal, I'm sure, to based the pay-per-views have been getting 30 or 40,000 views, buys I should say, since Tony Khan took the company over back earlier this year. I think there's 3 pay-per-views, and they've all been in that range, and that makes money. But this will really limit the exposure of Ring of Honor, certainly, to probably that a similar size audience, 30 or 40,000 people at $9.99 a month. And even with AEW's ratings lagging of late, that the Dynamite show is still drawing 830,000 or so or more viewers per week on Wednesday nights on TBS. So that just shows you that's more than 20 times the size the audience that Ring of Honor I would expect would actually be able to access through this streaming service. So and as far as how Honor Club works, it's not an alternative to pay-per-view either, because the Honor Club will only have the pay-per-views 90 days after the live event. So yeah, you can wait 90 days and be able to watch that Briscoes match I just told you about if you still remember 90 days that match happened. So um, obviously Tony Khan, he's been trying to tell us for months that he had a deal in the works to get Ring of Honor on a TV show, a weekly TV show, and it just didn't work out. And this alternative could have been put out there months ago and perhaps built momentum towards a TV show. Not good thinking on Khan's part to go that route, because now he's sitting here almost at the end of a year owning the Ring of Honor brand name, the archives, etc. And he's just now rolling out this Honor Club. So, that's his money. It's not mine, but, it's a good product, and I'd like to see it get more exposure than it's going to get this way. For more wrestling news, for more sports news, more news, go to AugustaFreePress.com. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything you want me to address in a future column on the website or here on YouTube, email me at chris@AugustaFreePress.com.